Making coffee. BRB making coffee and then we back. Let me see. It says here we go. Give me this. Stream key is live. Stream key is live. Making coffee. This. Okay, great. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? That was only 5 minutes. Alright. Let me currently. I have to set the latency on my stream to like low or something. That's the one problem with the latency. Oh, you latency? Oh, you wanna laten me? Da, 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 da. Let's see. I'm looking at it now. It says live. Let's see how long it takes to go back to the original. Share. Time to share. Time to share to the folks. Do 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 do. For any bored souls. I told you. I told you what. Alright, so let's hit the obsidian today. Let's get back to work. Alright, last time we literally made the entire narrative arc of the game. Type shit. So now it's kind of time. What do I want to focus on today? That's gonna be the new thing. This, and let me go zoom in. This and like the next couple of, I feel like it's just gonna be like all pre-production stuff. I don't even know if I'm gonna like open Godot yet. I want to think about really hard the structuring of the of the game before I really get into all of that. Okay, so where should we start, bro? Where should we start? Let me see. What do I have for my combat? Have I like completed like most of the ideas for this? I guess I could start making details. Right? Making details would be nice. I feel like I should only design like one of the class cards. I should only design one of the class cards. Huh. To test, and then I'll start thinking more about like each one as after I make the system. No. No. Daily notes. Na, 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 na. Here. Open today's daily note. Right. Today, I think I will start. Whoa. I clicked caps lock and that happened. I will start thinking about the core gameplay systems and how they will work on a fundamental level in Godot. Start doing system architecture. Finish Echo's profile and information. Work on your companion's info that will follow you around in the story. Huh. Class card. Work on Echo's class card. Work on intro, cinematic choices, and dialogue/ideas. Okay, I think that's enough for the next 3 hours, which I definitely am not going to get to any of them. Core gameplay, not play. That's disgusting. Gameplay systems on a fundamental level. Huh. And then I think this is a good checklist. I think we really hit in the checklist here format. I can make this a checklist, right? Is that a thing? Task list. Yep. Uh-huh. So I got a task list going here. Let's switch it up since I've been thinking about for so long the story ideas, concepts. I think it's about time we start thinking about the code design just like slightly because we already have an idea of so many of the things that I think the architecture is going to be important to think about. So I think I'm going to make a new note here. And I'm going to call it gameplay architecture. Right. And now I just have to think about how this is actually going to be organized. It's like always so hard to start, you know? This is where confusion begins. I guess I should develop a philosophy. I feel like this is always good to start. What's the philosophy? What are the key pillars I should always follow? Philosophy. 1. Systems should use composition as much as possible for interchangeable parts. 2. Be data driven so we can later extract information from the project, from each of the components, and work through them. 3. Decoupled systems. Let's create a signal bus, which will be used for communication between systems, right? We could state machines for the main enemies, players, game flow, etc. Always include failsafes, null checks, clear error messaging, etc. 6. Single responsibility. Each system will do one thing really well. That'll be our philosophy. Systems should use composition as much as possible for interchangeable parts. We should be data driven so that we can later extract information from each component as we work through them. Decouple systems will create a signal bus which will be used for communication between systems. And this is where I kind of failed on my last project with I had a project called Gridlock. I later realized how bad I had the system architecture for that one, and it was very different with all the knowledge that I have now, how I should organize it to make it better. State machines, so the main characters, players, and game flow. Always include fail safes, null checks, clear error messaging. Single responsibility. Each system will do one thing really well. Well. So this will be our philosophy. Right? So I guess we should start thinking about system layers. And layer rules. Now, what is going to be this? Now, I'm thinking, all right, so from everything that I've ever worked on, which is mostly in app development, web development, and I have always taken a hand at trying to do game development, but I've just never stuck to it. That is why I have created this live platform to try to make myself do it. So that is why I am live streaming it so that I can document every part of the process of the way and have it be so that the game was fully created to what it will be. So I also have imposter syndrome because it's difficult to do everything at once and do drawing, modeling, coding, story creation, writing. God, you name it. It is hard. So this is my attempt at fixing that. All right. So system layers. How are we going to have our system organized? Now I'm going to actually make a new drawing, I think. New drawing. Y'all. Oh, you get ranks in this little program? That's great. What do we got here? Laser embed. Wow. To show what we're gonna do. Alright, here we go. Boom. Here's gonna be our system. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe make it look a little nicer. Spread it out correctly. Okay. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. So now what am I thinking about? Huh. So each of these are going to be a layer in our system design. And this is going to be important because if we don't think about this now, just the whole game is just going to be so disorganized and hard to think about. So here's going to be our system design. So here I'm going to have right here, boom, 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 boom. All right. So at the top layer, and here are kind of the rules here. We should define some rules about how this system design is going to work. Upper layers can call functions from lower layers. However, lower layers will emit signals up from their signal. All layer communication, even if in same layer, will be done through a signal bus and not direct references. Core layer of application should always be available through loading, through auto load system in Godot. Now for this, right? In Godot, you're able to have it so that there are certain layers that are able to be auto loaded. And that's kind of like they always exist, no matter what scene you're in. It's like kind of like a global, almost like a global array, or like a global type of piece of data that you'll always be able to call from, no matter what scene you're in, no matter where you are in your current scene. You will be able to auto load the system in Godot. Okay. And there are going to be a few things in each of these layers. Presentation layer should not hold game state. Only to display it. Right, so here we go. So we have upper layers can call functions from lower layers. However, lower layers will emit signals from their signals. So we'll give signals to all of them from the lower layers. And then all the communication, even if it's in the same layer, should be done through a signal bus and not directly referencing that. The signal bus will be our source of truth. Our layer communication, our communication style, even if it's on the same layer, is all going to go through the signal bus. And then I'm thinking this core layer, which will be down here. So what are the layers I kind of see? I see... Maybe I only need 3 layers. Will that make it a lot easier? I think I'm going to just make it 3 layers. Just to kind of simplify the idea of what I'm going for. So here we will have... This will be our presentation layer. This right here will be our gameplay / systems layer. And then this right here will be our core layer. Okay, so what's going to be in the presentation layer? Or what are some things? UI, HUD, menus, visual effects, audio, camera, models, card aesthetics, art, text, fonts, etc. Right? We're gonna have all of these in our presentation layer. Right? And then in our gameplay layer, we will have player, enemies, NPCs, combat, dialogue, right? Abilities, class card logic, the five truths system, severity, health system, signal exposure, banes, artifacts. I'm thinking banes will be like buffs and debuffs. I haven't really wrote about this yet. Buffs and debuffs. Extra stacks on a run. Artifacts. Um, yeah, that would be kind of the gameplay and the systems layer to have like all of these things here. And then I'm thinking on our core layer, we will have a game manager, a save manager, a signal bus, and a progression manager. So this will like manage like how far your character is, data, your data for how far you are in the story, and then this will interact with the save manager to get data that we save, and then the progression manager will load the save manager's data. The game manager will directly affect this gameplay layer. Yeah, this will like directly impact this layer, this game manager, right? Save manager. The save manager will directly impact this, and it will directly impact the. Yeah, go crazy. Let me loop this bad boy around. Right, and it will directly impact this as well for the save manager, so it'll like kind of impact both low key. Then we'll have our signal bus, which will be like an omnidirectional like communication between systems. And this will handle the communication between all the systems. Progression manager, that will be handled from the save manager, and also it will interact with the UI, the HUD, etc. Because this save manager will also, oh, I should have this pointed up here. Right, this will go up here. Right, save will save the state of your current character, load data into any of these presentation elements, load data into your current save, how it's set up, etc. Then we'll have a gameplay and a systems layer that will deal with all of our gameplay logic, things like that. If in the same layer, we will use the signal bus. This, and I'm going to color it and make it a different color. Communicate. Said this will set up communication between all of the layers. Wow, this is going to be so easy. I'm definitely going to get this done in like a day or two. Oh, Jesus. Right. So I'm thinking that this is gonna be most of the information that we have. We're also, low key, I think there's also going to be like some type of bond slash relationship system with like certain characters, store. Store, shops. Right, shop menu. I should add this up here. Shop menu. And I'm thinking that this is going to be kind of the main idea. So let's name this game layer guide. The game layer Bible, bro. I think this layer system is going to make us not feel sad. As we think about and design the rest of our game. Okay. Now let me add that here into our game layer Bible. Game layer Bible. Game layer. Game slash. Yeah, embed a drawing. Let's embed the game layer Bible here. Can we make this any bigger? I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. Feels small, but I understand. Right, so here is the game layers, game layer logic. How we should communicate. All right, then we'll have signals as communication haven. So what's going to be important is that we do not get bogged down with events that happen to our character and sending them to multiple places. So what the signal bus does is that it's kind of like an event tracker. When something happens in our game, we want the signal bus to send it to wherever it needs to go. So let's say a player gets damaged, for example, right? What needs to get updated? The UI, the actual health for the player, maybe like the icon that shows if he looks hurt, maybe we have like a little icon that shows the picture. Now this needs to get spread throughout the entire program. So that's where our signal bus is going to come in. I want it to kind of be like an event manager. When something happens, this goes. So that's kind of the idea. Right. And then on our signal bus, I'm just like thinking about it. And on our signal bus, I'm thinking that we will slash signal slash. Let me make the signal bus in the code design as well. F it. Signal bus. Here. So this is like our signal bus here. Oh, you can add like files. I didn't see these tools on the left side. What can you do with scripts? Huh. Anyway, sorry. ADHD moment. But what's gonna be the main idea here now? I'm just like thinking about it just because like I haven't designed a system like this in a long time. Because like I think about it. What's like the best way? So we kind of want to decouple what happens to the player and its properties and then attach it to the character itself. We kind of want to decouple these things. Now, why do we want to decouple these things? Because there are just so many things that happen and how crazy the the like actual events will be. And when something happens to one thing and we want to respond to an event, it's just gonna do a reaction to it. So like when we have an event sent, it'll react to when that event is getting sent out, right? That's sort of the idea. So I'm thinking in simple terms here. You will just have, for example, a bunch of different. This will be like a signal bus.gd, right? And then in this signal bus, we will have just like as a concept, we will have like this one will be hashtag. I guess it would be the, like the player signals. One. We could have the combat signals, right? Progression. This is where the progression manager will come in. Progression signals. This is where we could save progress. Progression signals, etc. Right? And then here there would be like a list of things. Now it would be like player damaged. Player healed. Player dead. Severity changed. So many different options. Signal changed, right? You could have blah 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 blah. All the things that happen with the player. What this will do is that this when this player dot damaged gets called, it will emit it to everywhere it needs to go. Right? So if this player dot damaged happens and we have a UI component that needs to change, HUD refresh or something, or like severity bar change, right? This will then send a signal out to this to say, hey, we need the severity bar changed. Then maybe we will also have an audio manager component, for example. Youch. That hurt, or whatever. He goes, ugh. UI system. This would be our audio manager. Right? So when that happens, and then you would connect the signals. You would connect the signal from the player damaged, right? So then here you would do connect the signal from the signal player, signal.player damage connect. Here you would run a function called on player damaged or something like that. Then when that happens, it runs the signal. And then you could run an emit from it or something of that nature. Right. Would be something like that. Now let me just double and let me just like copy and double check the Godot signal, the Godot signals, just to make sure that like we kind of got the right sauce with this. So I'm gonna look up Godot signals 4.5. Right. Right. They're messages that nodes emit when something specific happens to them, like a button being pressed, right? Other nodes can connect to that signal and call a function when the event occurs. So this will kind of be like our signal bus will be like our event bus. Signals are a delegation mechanism built into Godot that allows one game object to react to a change in another without them referencing one each other. And keeps your code base flexible, right? So we want to do that. Right. There's a pressed event. Double click the press signal. You could connect the signal to the 2D sprite node. Right, because there's a sender and a receiver. Just refreshing myself on this logic because I just haven't worked on it in so long. Let me replace the line with the... Our sprite 2D moves thanks to the code in process. Blah, 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 blah. Right, connecting signals via code. Right. Okay, right. Right. When the timer emits timeout, we want to call the function on timer timeout that we need to define. Same thing here. So for hours, what I'm thinking and like kind of the idea is that since this will be an audit loaded script, since this will be an auto loaded script, we can reference whenever. Then we will be able to then do something along the lines of signal bus dot player damaged dot connect, and then we will make on player damaged. So then when our signal bus does this, right, we run a function that does something like this, player damaged. We run the signal bus, and then this will run on each of these, like and then we'll have our own functions for each of them, so that we can decouple them, so per se. Uh-huh. And I'm thinking that'll be kind of the vibes for the signal communication. And then embed a new drawing. Let me name this thing something. Signal bus idea. Right? It's kind of the idea here. I'm talking through it. I'm starting to see. I'm starting to see the light. I'm starting to see the understanding. God's plan. I'm starting to see God's plan. Okay, so you embed signal bus, right? Kind of you do the signal bus, right? Right. That'll be kind of the idea for the. Mm, 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 mm. How will our game simple simple game architecture? What will our game architecture be, and what will be the how are we going to want the game our architecture to be inside of Godot? Now, I'm thinking we are just going to have a game world, and in that game world, so we're going to have like our node 3D. We should make like subgroups. One of them should be environment. One of them should be entities. This will be like players, enemies, NPCs. One of them will be systems, camera, UI, right? Something like that. And then we'll load them in like that. Then in an environment, then sub inside of an environment will have our like actual scene data, lighting, our geometry slash places to stay, maybe our nav mesh region, something I have not looked into or read about. So that's going to be fun as I'm live building this to like slowly figure out how to actually create that. Alright. Right. In our systems, we have save manager, spawn manager, right? Save manager. See, now I'm like thinking maybe we should have two separate main scenes. That'll be like a game world architecture for. Huh. It's like interesting to think about, right? It's all kind of the same except for the combat. So then in the systems here, we'll have combat manager, right? Mm, anything else? We'll think about what we do with that. Camera, we'll hold our camera data, our isometric camera, and maybe like a cinema camera if we want to get crazy with like be on some movie type shit with it. So That'll be kind of our base architecture, I'm thinking. Right. So I'm thinking that we will have save data saved in a Godot resource and then populated throughout each of the hmm, guess it's hard to say. I don't know. Just gonna take time to think about save throughout each of the saves in data. Using Dialogic V2 to set up the data correctly. For the dialogue, create custom save logic for the player and data. Think about this more carefully later on how to do so. Right? It's kind of the idea. Okay, sorry, I was reading a work email. So let me now start. Let me design the first class card, bro. Or actually, what'll be the first thing that we add? We're gonna move away from the system architecture as it's fucking destroying my brain while I think about how much work that needs to be done in like one game, and I realize why one person on a team is not like it doesn't mean anything. It means jack all. It means jack all, bro. But it's just like so much to think about. I'm like getting overwhelmed. But okay, gotta stay focused. Let me look at my daily notes. Start thinking about systems. Good. Finish Echo's profile. Work on companions info that they will follow around in the story. Now, I was talking about this yesterday with my friend Carr about the companion. that our main character will walk around with. Now, what will really emotionally pull the strings together? Should they be a child? Should they be like somebody who's like quirky? I'm thinking they got to be like a. I want that like cool friend who's mysterious, kinda, but also like has their own special thing going on. It's kind of hard to say. So maybe he'll be a loser. Maybe his best friend will just be like a big loser. Big, crazy loser guy. I kind of could see it. I'm like envisioning it. But yeah, let me. You could kind of think like this person and their toys. I'm thinking like maybe this person gets an obsession with Echo that makes them like want to like play with them like a robot, but is that like a core theme? Is that a core identity? All right, I don't. He has an unknown name, but I kind of unknown name. I have to think of a name for this person because I just haven't yet. But I'm thinking I kind of got a picture of his idea. Let me copy the Echo one. What did I have? Description. Yeah, let me bold this. Right. I think I should just take everything from this, or maybe not. Grown up in the town of Scrap Heap, in the junk town of Scrap Heap. Unknown name. We don't know the name of this person yet. They were always known. Oh, he could like befriend like a little boy who cried wolf, but he doesn't know that obviously because he's gonna be like dug into the sand. So I'm thinking that like our character, and then it could be like the Raiders are come. Okay, I'm starting to see the vision. Who cried wolf of their town? Staunch. Staunch and overweight. He would sneak into the food reserves and eat whatever he could find. He's gonna be addicted to food. He's gonna be a food addict. Dude, we're gonna name this motherfucker Remington based on a cat that I saw in the a fat cat that I saw. He's gonna be like a fat cat. Like you love him, but you're like, what? You love him, but you're like, what? Why are you so big? Baby, I love you. Cat, I love you. Yeah, he would come back with unbelievable stories that were obviously not true. Yeah, bro. Named after a war general in a pre-world book. His family died at a young age and he protecting the town and he was then treated grown up in the junk town of Scrap Heap. Born and raised born and raised in the junk town born and raised in Scrap Heap. Remington always knew how to get himself in trouble. Named after a war general in a pre-world book, he was far from the regalness that his name presented. At a young age, his family died protecting the town, and he was left in care of the mayor who would adopt him. Remington was always Remington was always known as the little boy who cried wolf. As a child, he would go hunting for shiners or metal and return with unbelievable stories of magical artifacts, curious curios, and treasure, and triumphant and troves of treasure. Because his stories were outrageous, regalness, the prestige that his name presented. He's far from the prestige that his name presented. At a young age, his family died protecting the town, and he was left in care of the mayor who would adopt him. Reddington was always known as the little boy with Cradwell, as a child with a large imagination. He would go hunting for shiners or metal and return with unbelievable stories of magical artifacts, curious curios, and troves of treasure. Because his stories were outrageous, the town did not take him seriously. Eventually, he would be cast a local miscreant. Eventually, he would be cast out as a local miscreant. Born and raised in Scrap Heap, Remington always knew how to get himself into trouble. Named after a war general in a pre-world book, he was far from the prestige that his name presented. At a young age, his family died protecting the town, and he was left in the care of the mayor who would adopt him. Remington was always known as the little boy who cried wolf. As a child with a large imagination, he would go hunting for shiners or metal and return with unbelievable stories, magical artifacts, curious curios, and troves of treasure. Because his stories were outrageous, the town did not take him seriously. Eventually, he would be cast out as a local miscreant and roam the nearby dunes for answers on his for answers on his He is a self-acclaimed historian, but his yearning for knowledge makes him like one. Bar down. But his yearning for knowledge makes him like one. On his most recent excavation into the wastes outside of Scrap Heap, he finds our main character, Echo, and befriends him on a journey which he has been waiting for all along. Remington, born and raised in Scrap Heap, Remington always knew how to get himself in trouble. Named after a war general in a pre-world book, he was far from the prestige that his name presented. At a young age, his family died protecting the town, and he was left in care of the mayor who would adopt him. Remington was always known as the little boy who cried wolf. As a child with a large imagination, he would go hunting for shiners or metal and return with unbelievable stories of magical artifacts, curious curios, and troves of treasure. Because his stories were outrageous, the town did not take him seriously. Eventually, he would be cast out as a local miscreant and roam the nearby dunes for answers on his past and the secrets of solitude. Ugh. He is self-acclaimed. He is a self-acclaimed historian with no real merit, but his yearning, you gotta hit him with the double. He is a self-acclaimed historian with no real merit, but his yearning for knowledge makes him like one. On his most recent excavation into the waits outside of Scrap Heap, he finds our main character Echo and befriends him on a journey which he has been waiting for all along. Okay, let's look for some references. Young black man searching the desert anime. Hey, what am I thinking of, bro? AI, AI. What do you think I'm thinking of, Google? Heavenly Delusion. I am. I'm thinking of this. Is is this what I'm thinking of? It doesn't look like it. What did it say? Michiko and Hachin. Yeah, yeah, this is one. This is good. Let me see some reference, bro. Michiko and Hachin. Right. Yeah, I kind of like imagine them being like, but like not this chick though. It's like he's, but I like it though. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's on some energy. Remington vibes, bro. Maybe Remington, my boy Remington, but bro, we got some Michiko and Hachin, bro. Atsuko Jackson. Damn, she's cool. What the fuck? She's gonna be like what the mayor looks like. The mayor's gonna look like this. Blonde Afro women. Black Afro blonde women. Mayor. Cool. Black Afro women. Cool. Mayor vibes anime. Me when the AI hit different. Oh, oh yeah. Oh, this is it, bro. These are the vibes, bro. The mayor's gonna go fucking hard. I already have such of envisionment for her in this polygonal pixel world, bro. Yeah, let's go down this rabbit hole. No, I don't want none of this. Anime characters with afros, bro. Boom. Yes, 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 queen. Go. Honestly, this is more like the mayor. Remington doesn't look like this. Huh. What's that song? We're on our way. Playing with fire. Going higher. We're on our way. This, Cannon Busters. Yeah, bro. Remington looks like this, dude. He kind of looks like this, dude. In my non-perfect vision of the world, this is what Remington would look like on a psychological and emotional level. Mm-hmm. The mayor, the mayor, the mayor. Echo. My boy Remington. I might have to start like thinking about what he looks like, kinda. My boy Remington. Aw. I guess I should go into like a physical description of them. Physical description. Mid-20s. Weathered by wasteland life. A lot of practical clothing with pockets and pouches. Cool jacket. Goggles pushed up on forehead for protection against storms. Carries a satchel slash fanny pack, maybe, found in waste. Yeah, what does he want? What does he want and what does he need? That's the thing, right? Yeah, what does he want versus need, bro? The classic question of all time. He wants shiners, safety, to not die. But what does he need? He needs connection, a friend who won't judge him for his past. Uh, and to matter or to affect something greater than his town. Right. I see Remington as his human perspective to Echo's situation. Ask questions that might echo, haha, what the player would be thinking about their character. Sometimes reacts to echoes, choices in game, and responds. Offers information about the world. Right? My boy Remington. I feel like everybody in this town is gonna be named after. I'm gonna write a locations for the narrative. Locations. Or maybe make a. I'll make a new folder. Locations. New note. Scrap heap. I don't know why I can't delete. It's like very frustrating. Delete. No, no. Okay, here we go. It's like I can't. Oh, oh, oh. Delete. Delete cells. Hell yeah. Well, might be a showdown. Might be a showdown. Remington. I'm really liking the way Remington is shaping up. Remington is shaping up good. Me when Remington shapes up type beat. Let's look up old war general names. Old, old, old 1776 American names. Martha. Oh my god, Theodosia. Amias. Oh yeah. Yeah, founded by Amias. Scrap Heap is a junk town founded by Amias after abandoning nomadic lifestyle and embracing the slogan "Peace is where the home is," or something like that. Yeah, Scrap Heap is a junk town founded by Amias after abandoning nomadic lifestyle and embracing the slogan "Peace is where the home is." Amias, that goes hard. Old 1776 American names type beat. Check that out right there. Amias. Margaret. Oh, I like Margaret. Him and his wife Margaret and a few other nomadic settlers landed on this pile of scrap and stayed there for the next 200 years. After many generations, Scrap Heap is now settlers. They are not close enough to the Shadow Well or woodland areas to produce or farm these minerals to get. Town is built from literal scrap boards and junk. They are not close enough to the Shadow Well or woodland areas to produce or farm these minerals to get life. Right? Notable characters. Right. Let's one of them is going to be obviously the mayor, Remington. We'll think of a few more, bro. Shut your trap, I'm working. That's what they'll say. They're gonna be like a crazy merchant guy. I'm thinking. I don't know what his name will be yet, but there will be. Scrap Heap will be like the first location people visit, I guess. Yeah. The mayor, Remington. Remington? No. Remington in the story will grant an artifact to the player that will let them absorb shiners from a distance and not need to pick them up manually. Yeah, potential names. At the center of this scrap heap, they found a book on pre-world lore. The lore is about an old war some time ago. People of this town revere it as a Bible and even name some of their children after the people in it. Common names for characters: John, Mary, Elizabeth, Sarah, Joseph, Margaret, etc. Right. Mm-hmm. Okay, sorry, I was reading a work email. Alright, what other characters can we make? Let's start thinking of other characters. I feel like I want to make the merchant. I want him to be named something crazy, like Hezekiah. He was the king of Judah? Wait, that's fire. Whoa. Hezekiah. Let's watch a video on the Hezekiah, the king. Who was Hezekiah, the king of Judah,
Imagine
bro?
being able to build an app with your
I want to
name on
hear
it,
this, bro.
just by thinking about it. Meet Base
I want to
40.
hear
Have
about
you ever
his.
heard the story of a king who faced one of the greatest crises in the
Oh my god, it's like some AI crap. Please make a video about the tribe of Simeon, Hezekiah, Bible story. Yeah, go crazy, bro. Somebody tell me. Oh, 4 minutes? I'm
God's
down.
story. Hezekiah. So part of God's
Oh,
story is about a king named
Hezekiah.
Hezekiah. And he goes
Hezekiah. That's gonna be one of the characters' names, by the way, is Hezekiah. Hezekiah. Like, I don't know what he'll do yet. I don't know who he'll be, but he's going to be one of the main characters. Oh, there should be. Oh God. Who is like the enemy of George Washington? Who is George Washington's enemy? Thomas Conway. Benedict Arnold. I feel like Arnold's a cool name. Arnold, I like that. We got Arnold, we got Hezekiah, the mayor, Remington. Yeah, let me hear
When Hezekiah
Hezekiah,
became
bro.
king of God's special family, the Israelites, he was 25 years old. Hezekiah ruled Israel's entire southern kingdom called Judah. Hezekiah was a good king. He prayed to God and he always obeyed him. Now, Hezekiah's dad, King Ahaz, didn't follow God at all. In fact,
Dude,
just like other kings before him,
King
Ahaz
Ahaz.
ignored God and worshipped other gods called idols. He even closed the temple where God's people went to worship. So by the time Hezekiah became king,
This is
most of the
crazy.
Israelites didn't follow God either. But Hezekiah was different, and he obeyed God. God had given the Israelites rules, also known as commandments, to follow. And one of God's rules said to not have idols. But over time, the Israelites started to worship several idols, including a bronze serpent. Hezekiah knew that was wrong, so he destroyed the snake idol and broke it into tiny pieces. Hezekiah also repaired God's temple, and he took down the other idols that God's special family had been worshiping. Because Hezekiah kept God's commandments, God was with
This is
Hezekiah
like a
and blessed
brainwash
everything that he
piece,
did.
kind of. I don't know what to feel about this.
One day, a king from Assyria sent a massive army to the capital city of
Damn.
Israel.
They really
When the
got him
army
looking
arrived,
looking
they
crazy,
made fun
that
of
guy.
Hezekiah and God's people for trusting God to protect them. They said God was like all the other weak nations they had already defeated. The army even told the people Hezekiah was lying about God being able to rescue them. When King Hezekiah heard about
snap.
this, he was so upset. He tore his clothes, decided to pray, and asked for the prophet Isaiah to be brought to him. A prophet is someone who hears from God and shares God's message with others. Well, Isaiah told Hezekiah to not be afraid because God told him that the king of Assyria would leave Hezekiah and his people alone. And that very night, 185,000 Assyrian soldiers died. In the morning, when the king of Assyria saw what happened, he went back home just like Isaiah said. Hezekiah trusted God would help, and God heard his prayer and chose to protect his city and people. When Hezekiah got older, he became very sick, and the prophet Isaiah told him that he would die soon. But Hezekiah knew there was still a lot of work to do in Judah. Hezekiah wanted to teach people how to love God and follow his commandments.
Huh. I don't know what I'm learning from this. I couldn't tell you what I'm learning from this Hezekiah video. I really can't. I just like the name, bro. So you're trying to tell me that God killed 185 people? 185,000 people? Wait a second. Wait, the story of Hezekiah. Got questions. In 701, Hezekiah and all of Judah faced crisis. The Assyrians, dominant world power, involved Judah and marched against Jerusalem. The Assyrians had already conquered the northern kingdom of Israel, and now they threatened Judah. In their threats against the city of Jerusalem, the Assyrians openly defied the God. Right? Faced with the Syrian threat, Hezekiah sent word to Isaiah. The Lord, through Isaiah, reassured the king that Assyria would never enter Jerusalem. Rather, the Avarians would be sent home, and the city of Jerusalem would be spared. Hezekiah prayed to God, deliver us from this hand. When the people got up the next morning, there were all the dead bodies. $185,000. in the Assyrian camp. So everybody just died. Whoa. Whoa, this has to be the villain. Hezekiah's got to be the bad guy because this is crazy. He like prayed and killed. But like I don't know. I get it. I get it. Kinda. Right? But it's like we could do a twisted version of Hezekiah, right? He could have like a story like him. He prayed and then it killed 185,000 people. Hezekiah, huh? Wow. Wow, huh? Absolutely crazy. Never thought I'd see that coming. Never thought I would see the Hezekiah lick coming. 1,700 ladies' names. What do we got here, bro? Nameberry? What do we got? Colonial names? Amy. Phoebe. Phoebe's a good name. I like Phoebe. Caroline. Charlotte. Genevieve. Genevieve. I started looking at my phone. I'm probably gonna tap out at 2 hours. 2 hours. I'm honestly gonna change the schedule. I think for next month to be 2 hours, 4 days a week instead of 3 hours. 3 hours is a lot to like sit and talk. And I already did a bunch of work beforehand. I just need a couple hours. 2 hours, 3 hours. I don't know. Lucia, Light. You need a beautiful woman named Lucia. There'll be like 5 characters that you can interact with in this first area. Lucia, the mayor, Remington, Arnold, who I think is gonna be my crazy merchant that gives you like the stuff for you to sell. And I have to think of another character. Want versus need. It's like a lot to think about, but I don't really know. I'm feeling tired. I can't really think straight. Okay. Maybe I'll work on some art for Echo for like a bit. Phew! I really want to get this. Yeah, let's go crazy. Let's get an A3 page going and let's just start creating, bro. Yeah, I like this. Maybe I'll start with like a light pencil. Let's start with a light pencil, bro, and go crazy. What do we got here? Let's look at my DVOD 25.0, which I so kindly. Pencil 2B, mechanical pencil detail, pencil H sketch. Oh, if you hold shift, it will change the size. Ew, okay, I'm learning. Tool options. Yeah, let me do some weighted. Yeah, bro. What happens if I do stabilizer? Damn, that really goes crazy. Kinda can't do that. Weighted though. Let me do that, and then let me do basic. Yeah, it, like adds like a little bit of smoothness to the line instead of like all those shakes. Okay, the weighted is not bad. I like this weighted. It's not terrible. All right, let's think of some basic shapes here, bro. First off, my boy is going to have like let me pop up a reference, bro. Maybe I don't need a reference. Huh, where do you start to draw? Like, I don't draw, but I need to, like, start thinking of ideas so I can at least show people who can draw, like, what this should be, so... Kinda need to... Okay, this will be, like, a front view, so it'll be, like... Yeah... 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 Let me look at, like, a front view robot. Front view robot. Square. Right. Let me look at my reference images from. Oh God, yeah, maybe he will have like these fucked up feet. Maybe he will have these like extremely fucked up feet. It's time to think about what to do, how to draw. Let me look at a human. Let me look at a human, bro. Yeah, bro. He's gonna have like teeth, like fucked up teeth or something. Sticking out the top of the cape, he's gonna have like a little. He's gonna have a little antenna, bro. I'm thinking. That's them arm sockets, bro. That's what them arm sockets look like, bro. Then you got one of these, bro. Yo, bro. We really balling out on this art, bro. This is how art is. We really balling out on my boy. Yeah, we really balling out on my boy. Yeah. Then we gotta go with me, man. This shit is fucking dirty. Then this is where his metabolic chip is gonna be entered into his mainframe. Right here, bro. Uh this is where his chip is going to be entered into his body. Right here. Working on my crank. Working on my crank. Working on my crank. Whoa. You got digital paint, bro. Watercolor texture. Watercolor fringe. Watercolor soft. Yeah. This is kind of the idea, bro. Will his cloak be black? I don't think so. His cloak is gonna be like that tattered. Let me look at my. Let me look at my sauce, as the kids say. Yeah, it'll be like a yellowish gray, like but more yellow, like sand dune style. Yeah, yeah. That's that. That's that shit right there. Maybe even lighter, low key. All right, now we're gonna make a separate paint layer. This will be the second paint layer, and then we'll hide all the lines afterwards to kind of get the vibes. To get the vibes. Ba 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 ba. Working on that cape. I'm working on that cape. Don't I low-key should be putting this in a separate layer. I low-key should be putting this in a separate layer. Body. Body, yaddy, 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 yaddy. Then I'm gonna build the details on top of it after I do the body. Na 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 na. Add that texture. Yeah, bro. Here's my boy. The general form of my boy. Yeah. Uh-huh. That's what I'm talking about. Just too black. It needs to be like a dark gray kind of shade. Also, wait, let me accessories black. Wait, I guess since this would be a wait. Wait, wait. Okay, now in terms of the yeah, this is the coat. Let me make the coat like on the inside, like a dark. Yeah. I feel like it should be even darker. Yeah. No, 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 no. Do 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 do. Mm, 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 mm. New layer, eyes. Na 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 na. So hard to realize what we're doing here today. But then you gotta fight through the darkness, yeah, to make yourself feel okay. Got my body, fill out the bottom, fill out the bottom, yeah. Liking what this motherfucker doing. Alright, I'm gonna draw. I'm gonna draw him fucking with like a beast ass weapon now. Why the fuck not? Maybe it'll be mounted on his back. He'll just have a fucking giant ass chainsaw. Chainsaw. Is he just gonna have a gun sword? Is that what I'm gonna make him have? Yeah, he's just gonna be fucking. Let me make the background. This is what he's gonna look like. This is what he's gonna look like. I don't think I got the I don't think I got the cape good. I feel like I did everything else kind of alright. But the cape feels wrong. Can I just like can I just like whoa. Huh. Yeah, this is gonna be the background. Layer is locked. Oh, whoops. This one. Oh, get rid of this. No. I need a new one. I need a new background for real. Fail, fail. Do they have like a fill pattern tool? How to use pattern Krita. How to use pattern Krita. You can use the pattern. So if I click this, but how do I actually use it? First, draw a pattern. Draw. First, draw a pattern. How? Yeah, I don't know how to use fill pattern. Nice, and it looks like blood's all covered over him. Cool. Ugh. I'm gonna save this, and then I'm gonna put this into Affinity and see if I can, like, add effects on it to make it look cool. Atom Games. Game projects. Nomad Echo. Art. Echo. Attempt 1. Okay, now let me export this as a PNG file, or how do you save as PNG? Is that what I do? Yeah. Alright, now let me go into Affinity. Let me take this crazy picture that I just fucking drew. New. Can I like, yeah, open. Nomad Echo, Art Echo. Yeah, let's go crazy, bro. This, because I know how to use the layer. Let me see. Let me see what happens if I like start playing around here. Right, that's gonna just add it to the thing. Oh, making it look like a card a little. Cool. I don't hate that. Let me add some cool text. Echo. I might add a color overlay. Oh, I'm kind of seeing my vision a little. Yeah, what happens if I just pop a color overlay on this motherfucker, bro? What happens? Let's see. There it is. There it is. I worked on like a little thing for him. I think I just need to like make it so that the code is like a darker color, but that's okay. For now, this doesn't bother me. Sending this over to somebody, and then I'm done for the day, folks. I've done a lot of work, and I need a break. Resources, model practice. I've just kind of been sitting here in silence, just working, cooking, feeling like life, feeling life just take me by the reins. Scene one. YouTube, no. Adam Games, Game Projects, Nomad, Art, Echo, Scary Kill. Okay, everyone. I am officially finishing up the stream. I thank everybody who came and joined today. I'm emotional. It was fantastic. Oh, the thing happened again. Oh, no, it didn't. I just need to click insert. No, we're good. All right. Good night, good all, and good day.